Hi everyone, hope you all are doing well. So, this is Radhika here again, and this is another video on the same topic, how to heal after covert narcissistic relationship. This is the part two. In this, I want to discuss some uh, patterns or factors that I have seen get really affected after a person has been through a covert narcissistic relationship. So, this is what I've observed in people whom I have spoken to, my clients, etc. Um, I'll just list them out and I have written them down, so I might be looking on the other side of the screen a lot. So I'll just get right into it. So these are the things, these are the factors or the patterns I have seen a person experiences while they are healing from a covert narcissistic relationship. So the first one is betrayal. So almost everyone who has been through a covert narcissistic relationship experiences betrayal on different levels. So it's a betrayal of trust at an emotional level. It could be in the 3D level. So a covert narcissistic person might have promised to marry you, but they did not, or promised a job or something like that, something physical. So it might be betrayal at the physical level, at an emotional level, at a financial level, at energetic level. Like the covert narcissistic person keeps on taking all of your energy by their complaining or whining or something like that. So it's a betrayal of at many levels. And what this affects is it affects the person's capability to trust again. So what this does is, it this person will find it difficult to trust other people after being through a covert narcissistic relationship. Then the next thing that gets affected is, faith in love gets broken by this experience, because this covert narcissistic person paints a really good picture of love. And they might even say we are soulmates or something like that, and we are supposed to be together, this is destiny and this and that. And in the end it might end up in a betrayal. So faith in love is most of the time broken by this experience. It also creates an emotion of fear in the person to get hurt again, because the person feels that they might not be able to survive getting hurt another time to such an extent. Um, and what this results in is a fear of opening up to people. So this is also a trust issue, but it is also an issue of not getting hurt, that if you show too much of yourself to someone, that person can use it against you to hurt you. And I see this a lot in men, especially because most of the covert narcissists that I have met are women, but I have heard of covert narcissistic men as well. Um, but yeah um, so what happens is, these men, they really just close up. They might do very well on paper, they might have a good job, good house, good car, etc., but a part of them always feels empty, because ever since they got hurt for the very first time, this could even be someone's mother being a covert narcissistic mother, or a sister being a covert narcissistic sister, or maybe their first relationship was with a covert narcissistic woman. They just close up, and they don't open up after that. They might have a marriage and a family, etc., but they are always guarded. Even in their marriage, even in their most intimate relationships, they are always very, very guarded. And yeah, they just still have a lot of trust issues. um, then the next one is attaching ego and pride to being single. So always looking at being in a relationship as something of a shadow. So if you have been through a covert narcissistic relationship, a lot of people cope with it by being uh, single. I mean, I'm saying be single to heal, but they never go into any other relationship, because then they want to show that being single is better than being in a relationship. And to prove that point, they really put being single in their ego, um, as a good thing, as a part of their ego, that I'm single, I'm carefree, I don't listen to anyone, I don't have to, bear anyone's tantrums and this and that, and I live for myself, etc. But and they will always, try to point out all the problems that people in relationships have. They always fight, they have to, spend their whole life looking after their kids if they're married, and this and that. So it's a way of coping, but it's a way in which you are putting being single in your ego, and being committed or living with someone compromising in your shadow. So it's not a very balanced way to look at it, to be frank. I mean, you can be single if you want to be single, but uh, putting being single in your ego and putting having a relationship in your shadow is actually a imbalanced way of being single. So that's what I want to say. I'm not saying being single is a bad thing. If you want to be single, you be single. But have a very it would be good if you can have a balanced point of view, because everything has its pros and cons. Being single has its pros and cons, and being committed has its pros and cons. So it's not a competition. Nothing is better than the other. Everything is just a perspective. um, then the last point is, if you were heartbroken by a male, then putting males, all males, all men in your shadow. And if you were hurt by a woman, then putting all women in your shadow. So this one, it really makes me giggle, because a lot of women and a lot of men are like that. They just want to label everything as, oh, all women are like this and all men are like this. They want to just, pick out points and either be a feminist or be a manist. I don't know what men who are like, it's called MGTOW or something like that. I don't know what that is, but that's kind of like men who want to live without a woman or something like that. But it's just, you have to realize at some point you have put things in your shadow and you are over attaching to your ego of being a man or being a woman, because how much a man has hurt you, similar hurt can be caused by a woman as well. And how much a woman has hurt you, s- similar hurt a man can do to you as well. So basically what I'm saying is, it's human beings, it's living beings. It's not about just bifurcating on the basis of man, woman, or religion, or race, things like that. This is a very, I feel like this is a very narrow perspective on things. It's not like all women are like this, all men are like that. Okay, so in short, I will kind of try to tell you how to go about dealing with one by one, each one of them. And this is not an exclusive list. This is what I have found out when I speak to people, and everyone is different. So you might have been through a lot of things which are not on this list. So if you have been through those, it would be amazing if you could write them in the comments, so that if anyone comes looking for healing from things, from a covert narcissistic relationship, they can read the comments and feel validated. So yeah, so the first one is feeling of betrayal of trust. So this affects the heart chakra, and it also affects the root and the sacral, because trusting uh, is a big quality of the heart. And also, with trust comes a feeling of security, and security is a big part of the root and the sacral. So this affects a lot of chakras. So if there's one thing that you really have to work on, I would really say work on trusting again, feeling secure again. And this results in a lot of issues like anxiety, depression. So I would say that this is the first thing that you should look at if you have been through such a situation. So yeah, so For betrayal and trust, of course, you can do healings like meditation, Reiki, all these things are there. But logically speaking, I would just say that just realize that every human being um, can betray you. No one is really that trustworthy because most of the time, uh, we can't even not most of the time, but a lot of times we can't even trust ourselves. So I would say that instead of putting your trust in another human being, try to put it in either yourself. Build your self confidence to such a level that you trust yourself. At the same time, I'm not saying don't trust anyone else. Trust them, but trust them to a level. Don't trust them with your life. Don't trust them with your emotional sanity. Your emotional sanity should be your responsibility. So trust yourself with your emotional sanity. And at the same time, I would say that if you have faith, if you believe in some religion or something like that, then you can try to build faith in that. At the same time, don't build it in a person of that religion, I would say, or a human being in that religion. Just build it in the institution. Or if you believe in goodness of human beings, universe, universal laws, something like that, something which is beyond human. Because ultimately I feel like this is a truth of life, that every human can betray you. Every human being can betray you, may it be your spouse, your parents, your child, anyone. Don't trust anyone. Just trust yourself, but not in a negative way. In a way that don't burden other people with your trust. It's a big burden to bear, right? When someone is they might be going through their own things, but you might want them to support you, and you don't know what they are going through in their own life. So yeah, I would say that's a hard truth of this life that we kind of have to live with. That no one is actually going to be trustworthy all the time. You just have to mostly develop yourself to such a degree that you can trust yourself. So yeah, that's for betrayal and trust. And then the second thing is faith in love. So actually, this is a cycle of life that we have to go through, that you will fall in love again and again and experience the human kind of love until something actually breaks you enough that you take a deeper plunge into this thing called love, and into the laws of the universe and spirituality and things like that, and try to understand things from a much deeper perspective, and then you realize what is divine love or what is unconditional love. And you will realize that you have actually never loved anyone unconditionally. Like, not just that the covert narcissist has not loved you unconditionally, they were kind of manipulating you, but you will also understand that divine love is a very different kind of a love. And you can also come to the realization that it's a trial and error situation with love. You can't there's no guarantees. So you just have to kind of take some time to regain your faith in love, and also understand that your faith in love was broken by this experience because you had certain expectations out of it, and those expectations did not get fulfilled. So expectations by itself makes this love not an unconditional love, it was a conditional love. So yeah, so if you really love unconditionally, you might even love this covert narcissistic person maybe from a distance, but you still love them, and in that case you already are doing unconditional love, so then your faith in it will be unshakable. you know but it's a big it's a big cycle to understand unconditional love. So yeah, so the faith part, it will take some time to get your faith into love again. So yeah, take your time, and you don't have to force faith into anything, it doesn't work anyways. So if you're not feeling the faith in love, then don't love. Stay single, maybe love yourself, maybe that is a better thing to do then. So fear of being hurt again or fear of opening up. So this again will get solved if you take the time to be alone with yourself. So uh, if you completely cure codependency, so then you will realize that no one is capable of hurting you, because now you completely validate yourself and you completely love yourself, and you don't need another person to validate you or love you to such a degree that you needed in your covert narcissistic experience. So now you, even if someone says something good to you, you are okay. If someone says something bad to you, you are okay. That person is in your life because you want them in your life. That's the kind of love that you have towards them, that you want that person. It's an unconditional love. You will always wish for their good even if they hurt you, and it takes time. So if you are in fear of opening up, or if you are in fear of getting hurt again, uh, you might be in the process of becoming free of codependency. So keep going on that process, because you might be independent and you might not have opened up to anyone, and in the process you might have validated yourself and loved yourself, and maybe you are already there on that journey. So yeah, so then the next one is attaching ego pride to being single, and putting everyone who's in a relationship in your shadow. So this again, I think, um, just notice what you're doing. Are you doing this? If you are, then just make a note of it. Are you over convincing yourself that being single is the way to go, or being single is the life I want to live? Or do you always um, see people and kind of try to judge them, that see how frustrated they are in a relationship, see how many problems they have? So it's kind of like you are over convincing yourself to be single. So if you do that, you will realize that this is what is happening. You're putting being single in your ego, and being putting being in a relationship in your shadow. Then again, putting males and females, male slash females in your shadow. So if you have been hurt by a male, you start hating all men, and if you've been hurt by a woman, you start hating all women. And you, it's a very I mean, I realize that that person might have really hurt you in a big way, but and it's the easiest thing to do, like it's kind of like a child touching a fire once, and then the fire burning the child, and then the child feels that all fire is bad. I should never go near fire again. So it's that kind of a way of dealing with a situation is what I feel. So yeah, so if you see yourself doing that, then just try to tell yourself that, see, if you're hungry one day and you decide to have pizza, so you go to this pizza parlor and you have a slice of pizza, and it's the worst. It's like a really bad place and the pizza is really bad. So you decide that I am never in my life going to eat pizza again because of that one slice of pizza. Is that a rational decision? I mean, you can take such very drastic decisions in your life, but what such drastic decisions do, or this drastic judgment that you make, that I hate pizza, I'm never going to have pizza again, all pizzas are bad. So these decisions, they restrict your point of view in life, and they restrict your mind as well. So you have made a box now, and you want to put all pizzas in that box of bad food. You are not giving it another chance. So that's what a lot of people do. They become like women hater after they have been in a narcissistic relationship. They start abusing women, calling them bad words, and always thinking of them in a bad way. Similar with women who have had bad experiences with a man. They will say, men, they are so selfish, and they don't care, and this and that. But your experience has been just with one individual. You cannot um, just label everyone based on that one case. And if you are a person who is having repeated experiences, maybe you have always been, you have this cycle. Maybe you had a covert narcissistic mother. Now you had a relationship with a covert narcissistic girlfriend, and then again you break up, again you get another covert narcissist, another covert narcissist. Then this reinforces your belief that okay, all women are like this. But actually this is a sign that is telling you that there are some wounds that you haven't healed yet, and that is why this pattern keeps repeating in your reality, in this 3D reality. Because whatever is in your brain, the way you think about women, those are the sort of women that are going to manifest in your reality. So if you always think that women just want to use me, and they are emotionally abusive, and they are always needy, and they always take all my energy, all my money, they make me work, and they don't validate me, etc., etc., you are going to manifest such women in your reality. And if you think of a man as always being, just interested in the physical, they don't want long term commitment, they don't want to, like settle down, or whatever it is, they are not faithful. Whatever is your internal dialogue about men and women, those are the men and women that are going to manifest in your life. So at some point you have to change this internal dialogue about a man or a woman, because they are manifesting in your life, so that you change, so that you expand this restrictive point of view that you have developed. And I'm not saying that you have just randomly developed it. You have developed it because of some experience in your life. But what I'm saying is, the dialogue can be changed, because your story can be changed. And not all women in the world are like the covert narcissistic woman that you had a relationship with. Now the only trick is you need to find women who are not like that. But if you keep expecting a woman to be a certain way, that is how she is going to show up in your reality. So yeah, so I think that is also a very key point that I see. Most men and women, they have a core wound which keeps manifesting again and again in their reality, especially with respect to relationships. um, so yeah, so these were some of the points that I think all people who have had relationships with covert narcissists experience, and some ways in which I think these can be healed. If you have any comments, please do write them in the comment section, so that people who come to this video looking for help can be helped by this. And that's all. I wish you all a lot of love and a lot of light. Thank you. Bye.